When chapman billies leave the street and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late, folk begin to pack the gate, while we sit boozing at and happy, and getting fou and unco happy. We think na the lang Scots miles, the mosses, waters, slats and stiles that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth-fond, honest Tam O'Shanter, as he frae air ae night did canter. I'll dare, for never a town surpasses, for honest men and bonny lasses.
O Tam, hadst thou but been sae wise, and ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice, she telt thee weel thou was a skellum, a bletherin', blusterin', drunken blellum, that frae November till October, aye market day thou wasna sober, that ilka melder wi' the meller. They sat as long as thou had siller, that every nag was caught a shoe on, the smith and thee got roaring fou on, that at the Lord's house, even on a Sunday, they drunk wi' Kirk and Jane till Monday. She prophesied that late or soon thou would be buried in the Doon, or catch wi' warlocks in the mirk. By Always I'll hunt at Kirk. O gentle dames, it gars me greet, to think how many counsels sweet, how many length and sage advices the husband frae the wife despises.
But to our tale. Aye market night Tam had got planted anchor right, fast by an ingle, blazing finely, with reeman swats that drank divinely. And at his elbow Suitor Johnny, his ancient trusty drouthy crony. Tam lo'ed him like a verra brither. They had been fou for weeks together. The night drave on with sangs and clatter, and aye, the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious with secret favours sweet and precious. The suitor told the queerest stories. The landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without might, rare and rustle. Tam didna mind the storm a whistle.
Care mad to see a man sae happy, e'en drowned himsel amang the nappy. As bees flee hame wi' lades o' treasure, the minutes winged their way wi' pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, o'er all the ills o' life victorious.
But pleasures are like poppies spread, you seize the flower, the bloom is shed, or like the snow falls in the river, a moment white, then melts forever, or like the borealis race that flit ere you can point their place, or like the rainbow's lovely form, vanishing amidst the storm. Nae man can tether time nor tide, the hour approaches Tam maun ride, that hour o' next black arch the keystane, that dreary hour he mounts his beast in, and sick o' necht he tacks the road in, as ne'er poor sinner was abroad in.
The wind blew as 'twad blawn its last, the rattling showers rose on the blast, the speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud, deep and lang the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand, the deil had business on his hand.
Wheel mounted on his grey mare, Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam skelpit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whiles hodding fast his gid blue bonnet, whiles crooning o'er some old Scots sonnet, whiles glowering roon, wi' prudent cares lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirkalawall was drawn nigh, where geists and hoolits nichtly cry.
By this time he was cross the ford, where in the snow the chapmen smoored, and past the birks and meikle stane where drucken Charlie braks neck bane, and through the whins and by the cairn where hunters found the murdered bairn, and near the thorn aboon the well where Mungo's mother hanged hersel. Before him Doon pours all his floods, the doubling storm roars through the woods, the lightnings flash from pole to pole, near and more near the thunders roll, when glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirk Alloway seemed in a bleeze. Through ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing.
And spiring bold John Ballycon, what dangers thou canst make us scorn. With Tippany, we'll fear nae evil. With Uskiva, we'll face the deal. The swat's so reamed and Tammy's noddle. Fair play he cared ne'er deals a boddle. But Maggie stood right sair astonished, and till by heel and hand admonished, she ventured forward on the licht, and oh, Tam saw an uncouth sight.
Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillon brent new frae France, but hornpipes, jigs, strathspeys and reels put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat old Nepkin shape a beast, a towsy tyke, black, grim and large. To gie them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gartered them skirl, till roof and rafters all did dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses that showed the deed in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrip sleight, each in his cold hand held a light, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the hilly table a murderer's banes and gibbet irons, twa span long wee and christened bairns, a thief new cut it frae a rape, where his last gasp his gab did gape. 5 tomahawks with blood red rusted, 5 scimitars with murder crusted, a garter which a bairn had strangled, a knife a feller's throat had mangled, when his ain son o' life bereft. The grey hair yet stack to the heft, wi' mair of horrible and awful, which even to name would be unlawful. 3 lawyers' tongues turned inside out, well, it seemed like a beggar's clit. 3 priests' hearts rotting, black as muckly, stinking, vile in every uke.
As Tammy glowered, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they clickit, till ilka carlin swat and reekit, and coosed her duddies to the work, and linkit at her in her sark.
Now, Tam, oh Tam, had they been queens all plump and strapping in their teens, their sarks, instead of creashy flannin, been snow-white 1700 linen. Their breeks o' mine, my only pair, the aints were plush, of good blue hair. I would have given them off me herdies for I blink o' they bonny birdies.
But withered beldams, old and droll, rigwoody hacks what's been a foal, louping and flinging on the crummock, I wonder didna turn thy stomach.
But Tam kenned what was wit fu brawly. There was a winsome wench and Wally that nicht enlisted in the corps. Lang after kenned on Carrick shore, for mony a beast to dead she shot, and perished mony a bonny boat, and shook baith corn and mickle beer, and kept the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark o' paisley harn, that as a lassie she had worn, in longitude though sorely scanty, it was her best, aye, and she was vaunty. Ah, little kenned I reverend granny, the sark she coughed for her wee Nanny. The twopun Scots, 'twas a' her riches, would ever grace a dance o' witches.
But here my muse her wingman cower, sic flights are far beyond her power, to sing how Nanny lappin' flang, a supple jade she was, and strang, and how Tam stood like een bewitched, and thought his very een enriched, even sate and glowered and fidged fu' fain, he hocht and blew wi' might and main, till first he caper, sin another, Tam tint his reason a' together, and roars out, "Well done, Cutty Sark!" And in an instant all was dark, and scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied.
As bees bizz out with angry flight, when plundering herds assail their bike, as open pussy's mortal foes, when pop she starts before their nose, as eager runs the market crowd, when catch the thief resounds aloud. So Maggie runs, the witches follow, with money and eldrick screech and hollow.
Tam, they'll get thy faring. In hell, they'll roast you like a heron. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming. Kate will soon be a woeful woman. Now do thy utmost, speedy Meg, and win the keystane o' the brig. There at them thy tail may toss, a running stream they darena cross. But ere the keystone she could make, the fainter tail she had to shake. For Nanny, far before the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle. But little was she Maggie's mettle. I spring brought off her master hail, but left behind her ain grey tail. The carlin caught her by the rump, and left poor Maggie wi' bare a stump.
Now wha this tale of truth shall read, ilk man and mother's son tak heed. Whene'er to drink ye are inclined, or cutty sarks run in your mind, think ye may by joys o'erdear remember Tam O'Shanter's mare.